So I'm only on chapter 5, and this is a really good story. Like, I recommend people to read. It's so good. But it seems to have like 3 or 4 male leads. The first one is the Chancellor, the person the main character has romantic feelings for. The second one is his conspire. Now, the main character is actually a spy, but he's working with a group of people who's trying to put him on the throne and make him, emperor and kill who is the emperor. And this person's a conspire. They go to brothels with him. They go to outings with him. He is the second male lead. The third male lead is the emperor. It's pretty obvious if you read it that the emperor has romantic feelings for his uncle, which they are actually not uncle and nephew. Like, his grandfather, the emperor's grandfather, was the uncle to the main character's father. Like, they're technically actually cousins, like second cousins. And then the fourth one seems to be a brothel worker, but I'm not so sure about him. I don't think there's a fourth male lead. I think there's just 3 male leads. But yeah, there's 3 male leads. And I'm pretty sure it's the Chancellor who's the male lead, but I am not yet sure who's the male lead. So the main character is married, but he's not married for very long in the story. Now, he had been married for years, but him and his wife didn't do anything together because she found him to be offensive. She despised him and didn't want anything to do with him, while he treated her like a queen. And during an important meeting, she rushes in there and informs everyone during the meeting that she is pregnant, but not pregnant with his child because they'd never done anything with each other because she found him to be so offensive. And then accuses somebody she assumed that he was having an affair with or having a relations with because he brought the kid in because the person was down on their luck, like living literally terrible situation. He brought the person in, gave him a position as a worker in his palace, and she assumed the reason why he did all of that stuff because he was having relations with the man. And so she decided, while pregnant, that she would accuse this person. Later, it found out that the person she got pregnant with was with a guard she brought from her household. Now, she had no relationship with him before, but once she brought him into the house, she started having relations with him. But once he found out she was pregnant, he got out of there while giving her abortion pills. That's what set her off. She wanted to drag this person who she assumed was her husband's affair partner, and she wanted to drag him down with him. Luckily, the main character ain't that stupid and was like, yeah, no, you're not having an affair with him. It has to be somebody else. Like, it's pretty obvious you hold a grudge against this guy. I'm going to protect him, which makes everyone think he was having an affair with that dude, and I felt so bad for the main character. I was like, dude, I feel so bad for you. Your wife cheated on you, and a person you're not even having an affair with is being accused of having the affair, and no one will technically listen to you. Like, the emperor does let him have an investigation done, but even the emperor is side-eyeing him. I'm like, dude. So if I read that part right, the Chancellor's father, or could have been his grandfather, tried to destroy the relationship between the male lead's father and the emperor's grandfather. Like, tried to ruin their relationship by making him think that the person was out for his throne, and then turned around and, thanks to seeing that happen, like, the emperor's father was wary of the main character's father, and then now the emperor's also, what I can tell, is wary of the main character, but also has feelings for the main character. Like, it's so many twists and turns, it's a mess. Like, it is a serious mess. Like, can you guys not trust each other? Why is there no trust? Like, this man literally, like, the main character's father went to war repeatedly to protect the emperor and the emperor's father's position on the throne because of how the emperor's grandfather took care of him when he was younger, and yet they always thought he was after his throne. And now the emperor thinks the main character's after his throne, or I think at least the main character thinks the emperor thinks he's after his throne. Like, woo! So the co-conspirators are set up where the, Chancellor was going to get stabbed and then have the main character instigate it so the main character could get a better relationship with the Chancellor and, get information from this Chancellor. But it didn't go like he planned, but it still went well because the main character instead got stabbed because the main character came across this situation and protected the Chancellor. And he sees this as an opportunity where the main character can get closer to the Chancellor. And I'm like, no, that wasn't a well idea. That wasn't a good idea. Like, no. The main character confessed. He confessed to the Chancellor And now I'm very sure the Chancellor is the male lead, but I'm still not sure. I am so sure the Chancellor is the male lead. He confessed, but then turned around and he's like, you don't have to take my feelings seriously. Like, I'm just confessing because I want to be truthful to you. And he's wary that the Chancellor is now off-putted to him. And I'm like, oh no! Like, I was happy he confessed, but I also felt bad for this man. I was like, dude, I feel so bad for him. But maybe the Chancellor does have feelings for him. The way the Chancellor was reacting to the confession, he could have been also upset by it. But it also seems like he was, like, interested. He's interested. It seemed like that way. Like, it seemed that way. So the main character was joking with the co-conspirator because, you know, the co-conspirator did what he did was as a favor to the main character to help the main character get close to the Chancellor. The main character jokes, oh, if that's, you know, a way of giving someone a favor, your probably way of giving someone your love, someone you're in love with, is probably stabbing them tenfold, you know? You probably are the possessive and jealous and controlling type, that if your love even looked someone in a different direction, you probably stabbed them to death, which did not make the co-conspirator happy, which later they talk again later, and the main character jokes, oh, you know, brings it up, he's like, oh, you know, you were in a mood that time, and I was like, he was wary that if it was his comment that made the co-conspirator upset, and the co-conspirator is like, oh, that's not, like, I wasn't upset over that, I had, like, bad dealings beforehand, and I shouldn't brought my feelings up, and like, no, you literally stated that it was the main character's comment, you're like, oh, that's what you think of me, and I'm like, yeah, he does. He doesn't fully think you that way, but he kind of does. Like, it was a mess. And then they went and kissed each other. Like, they were kissing because the main character was down in his, you know, luck over the confession he had with the Chancellor. And him and the co-conspirator kiss. They were full on kissing. I'm like, ooh, ooh, this has gotten messy. Like, this has gotten messy.